Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of July 21st. We are going to jump right in here. You have this excitement and this impulsiveness card. So you could be excited by something. The impulsiveness card is like not good or bad. You know, it's kind of like one of those cards where it just says, well, I mean, obviously you're maybe making impulsive decisions, but it could be due to excitement, right? And again, sometimes that can be a bad thing. Sometimes that can be a good thing. We'll have to see what comes up in the reading, to make sure. But, that's kind of, I do feel it could be an exciting week. You have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands, he has a sense of, exhilaration, excitement. He's looking at this potential opportunity that exists in front of him. And, it is an opportunity that is going to take him places he's never been before. And, one thing I'm noticing is you have the Chariot. He kind of maybe feels the same way. He's leaving the city behind him behind. He's, the whole point of the Chariot is that he's leaving everything that he's ever known. He's leaving a place where everything is the same, and it's kind of like a certain comfort zone, but he knows that he has to go set himself apart. He has to do something to make himself unique. And you also have the Two of Wands, and kind of like the same thing. So I kind of feel that you are looking at an opportunity, or you've been given an opportunity that will take you places you've never been before with the Three of Wands. He has to get on those boats to go on an adventure. Yeah, the Three of Wands can represent your ships coming in, but I kind of feel like it's a time for adventure for you, Aquarius, mostly because, again, it's time for Aquarius to be noticed, especially with Pluto having entered your sign. You will never get this opportunity again. Aquariuses who are born, after Pluto leaves Aquarius will not experience this. It takes 280 whatever years for Pluto to return to a sign, right? So most people don't get this benefit. Although I don't know how much of a benefit Pluto really is. But what I would say is that there could be a lot of benefits in you kind of like exploring the unknown, mostly meaning unknown to you, but it's also an amazing time for innovation, which we always talk about with you, because innovation is going to lead to the biggest benefits for you, Aquarius, so I would definitely do it. Also, by the way, if you are thinking about moving, I'm getting a definite yes here. Like, I feel this is only for those of you that are literally thinking about it and maybe aren't sure if you should or you shouldn't, and I do feel it would be good if you're thinking about moving. But next, you have the Chariot, and I don't know if I said this, but this row represents your current general energies for the week, and the Chariot is definitely a victory. He's leaving that city behind him because he's making himself unique. He's setting himself apart. He's also getting into alignment, and I do feel a lot of you are kind of like more in alignment. There's something about the word conditions is popping into my head, right? And I think most people, that's what most people do, is that they kind of, when they want to accomplish something, they wait for the conditions to look a certain way instead of creating the conditions in their head, right? Which is probably a better way to do it, because the conditions to do something will never be right. But I kind of feel pretty good about this, Chariot, because I feel that that's what you are admitting to yourself, is that things will never be right. There never will be a right time or a right moment or a perfect moment to do anything. And so I feel like you're really kind of deciding to make moves with this Chariot, which is good. You have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups is like a perfect match. There is a little bit of love here. I mean, really, this is the only card so far. But, if you do want love, this could be something that you are very excited about. And, I don't know. I think maybe you could feel like you're making some mistakes. But again, I would say as long as it's fun, as long as it stays fun, then what's the problem, right? And so I would just go for this. The other thing about the Two of Cups is that it could just represent communication, right? This is the Staff of Hermes, and so the Staff of Hermes can just be two people who are communicating, and that's it. It's like you could be meeting a person where you just start talking now. Maybe it develops into something in the future. On top of that, I do feel like your higher self is trying to communicate with you, Aquarius, because we go up to the Seven of Cups, to the Nine of Pentacles. This really says that the universe, or your higher self, Two of Cups can be you and your higher self, basically you communicating through dreams, daydreams, your intuition, whatever. And it's like your higher self wants you to believe that you can create the dream here on Earth. Seven of Cups is the dream, whatever the hell your dream is. Nine of Pentacles is heaven on Earth. It is about creating heaven on Earth. Now, Nine of Pentacles doesn't say this is going to magically happen, as I always say, but it does. This to me is like your higher self is saying, like, yeah, believe it or not, despite what your second grade teacher told you, maybe your second grade teacher told you were stupid or something like that, right? And despite what that person said, that person is probably dead now. It's like my second grade teacher. I was dyslexic. She made me trace B's and D's because when I was in second grade, I just couldn't get B and D right in my head, right? And she's probably dead now. So you know what I mean? Like, what does her opinion matter anyway? She was old when she taught me, so rip, right? But also she was mean to everyone, and I'm like, you know what? Good. Enjoy turning to dust, right? I'm still alive, right? So, rip to her. But at the same time, it's like, despite what she told me, look at me now. Living the dream, reading tarot for all you lovely people, right? So there you go. And I don't even have to write in this job, right? It doesn't matter which way B or D goes, right? With the Three of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is quick success or a quick conclusion. Things are clearly moving quickly. The excitement and impulsive card is kind of like excitement. This kind of reminds me, if you don't know, I crashed on my skateboard a few years ago, right? And I'm telling this story for a reason. This is not a random rant. But I was like, I don't know, I was probably like 32 or 33. It's like, and anyway, I was going too fast, right? I was speeding a little bit too quickly. I cracked some ribs. I messed up. Luckily, I was wearing a helmet, so my head was fine, but busted my knees, all this other stuff, right? It's like I was going very fast. I was very excited, and then I started to doubt myself, right? And so I started wobbling, right? And that's when I fell. So that's what I feel right here for you, Aquarius. It's like, as long as you are staying in the good excitement energy, then I think that you won't crash. I think the only time you'll crash is when you introduce a little bit of doubt, a little bit of that wobble into what you are believing you are capable of doing. And so I really feel like you need to gas yourself up here. Like you might want to go watch Capricorn. If you have Capricorn in your chart, not this week's reading, but I think it was last week's reading. I was talking about how I wanted to gas Capricorn up, and it's popping into my head for you. So I feel like you need to believe in yourself, but again, no doubts, right? With the Chariot, you have the King of Cups, right? It's like, especially in love, it's like, if we start looking for things, we will find them. I truly believe that. And so I feel that if you are attracting a person to love, you need to enter into this with a clean vibration here, Aquarius. I think doing that will probably lead to the most success. There shouldn't be any thoughts of, is this person going to cheat on me, or, any of these other things. And it's not that you're not going to pay attention. It's just that you are entering in to this, not trying to create it, right? It's almost like the reading is saying you need to be very careful of your vibration. With the Two of Cups, you have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles just says take your time. In love, in anything else that you're doing, it's like put a little bit of energy in. Then you get a little bit of energy out, right? And you make sure that there's balance. Like if I was smart when I was skateboarding down that hill that I crashed on, it's like maybe I would have taken a few practice runs, right? Maybe I would have gone down it just like a little bit slower, like a couple of times, right? Just to make sure that the vibe was right. Just to make sure that things were, that there was equal give and take here between me and the ground. And so that's what I feel here with the Two of Cups. Saying there's no rush. You can take a couple of practice runs. If this is like a person, a couple of practice runs means that maybe you go on a couple of dates. Maybe you just see if they're going to screw up, right? But you don't put the intention out there. You just say, I'm just going to look at this as fun. I'm not going to attach a bunch of my wants and desires and needs to it. I'm just going to see where it goes, right? And I think if you do that things will go very, very well. It's like I've noticed this a lot recently. I don't know why. But, the algorithms have changed, and I've been getting served all these weird videos, right, about relationships. And I've just noticed a lot of people, it's like, I've noticed a lot of these videos where it's like people are going out on, it's like before they go out on a date, right? And it's just always like a neurotic mess who's freaking out before the date. I'm like, you've already ruined this date. You've already created something that is not going to be good for you because of your mental state, because of where you're at, right? So again, I think that this first row, I'm using love as an example, but it could be anything, right? I think that you need to have a clear mindset. It's like you need to believe that you deserve whatever you're dreaming about, because the universe is like clearly like, yes, here it is right here, but you have to, make sure that your vibration is clear and that you're kind of like, doing the right things and that you're putting yourself in a good environment. We'll talk about it more in a minute. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this unfinished symphony card and this why card. I almost feel like saying don't ask why. Like certain things have happened. I feel that if things have happened, they've happened, right? Stop telling that old story. The unfinished symphony card, it is going to be critically important for every single person that's alive that if you start things, that you finish them. We have your both Saturn and Neptune going into Aries. They are in Aries, but they are both retrograding out. So they will both be retrograding back into Pisces before next year they officially move into Aries. And one thing I will say is especially Saturn, so especially for about the next 3 years or so, if we start something, we need to bring it to a logical conclusion, right? That doesn't necessarily mean we have to stay in it forever, like whatever it is that we're starting. It just means there needs to be a logical conclusion. We need to bring it to the end, right? And so we can't just like start things and then leave our shoes untied. So I would make sure that you're not leaving any unfinished symphonies in your life, that you are completing things and closing them out. You have the Five of Swords, the Seven of Cups, and the Two of Wands. Five of Swords can be conflict. And again, I for whatever reason, I feel like this reading is like really the universe is trying to get you to create a good energy around yourself. It's almost like the Five of Swords is saying to me, to you, that you're creating like a negative, or I don't know that it's negative. It might just be conflict, a conflicting energy is what I'm feeling. And I'm not even saying that this is like law of attraction, right? That's not necessarily what I'm talking about here. Could it be? Absolutely. But, I think this is bigger than that. I think that this is saying, anything that you want, right? And this is not law of attraction. I think this is just really how life works, and people need to realize it. That like if you want to be successful in business, for example, there are certain things that people do that are successful in business. And whether it has to do with law of attraction or not, who cares, right? It's like there are certain energies, there are certain things that successful people do. Same thing in love. People who have truly successful relationships, there are certain things that they do in those relationships to make them successful. And I feel that the Five of Swords say, make sure you're not creating conflict between, those two things, right? And I definitely get that feeling there. You have the Seven of Cups. I don't know. I feel like this is something that you can't have, or it's like maybe you're focusing too much on something that you can't have is the intuitive vibe that I'm getting this week. It's kind of funny because I feel intuitively, Aquarius, that this could be one of those weeks where you're saying to me, if you're watching this before the 21st, I feel like you're going to say to me, no, this isn't how I feel. If you watch this reading on the week of the 21st, I feel like you will say, yes, this is exactly how I feel. It's almost like something is happening, something is triggering you on the week of the 21st, or something is going on where you could be just feeling like there's something that you can't have, but you can't, is what the universe is saying with that Nine of Pentacles. You have the Two of Wands. You can, because you might just have to push yourself outside of a comfort zone a little bit. It's like you can have whatever you want and desire. I also feel like, I know I've said this to you a bunch of times, Aquarius, but and like I'm not trying to be clickbaity or anything, but I really do feel like something is going to be so much easier than you think. You constantly get the Two of Swords with me. I think the Two of Swords is, negotiating. It's like negotiating with yourself. She's trying to find a middle ground when there is no middle ground, or, maybe there's a better option with that island behind her, but she's trying to protect her heart from whatever. And, but also, whatever she's thinking about is going to go in a different way because of that island behind her. And again, I personally think this is how life works anyway. It's like whenever we set out to do something, like nothing, my life did not go in any direction that I thought it was going to go. Plain and simple, right? Like I went to school for law enforcement, right? So I thought that I was going to work for like the DEA or something. I wanted to be a detective, right? And so that's like what I wanted to do when I was going to college, right? That's what I thought I was going to do. Obviously, I don't do that, and so there you go. But so it's it's kind of funny to me that like nothing in life ever goes how we think, or we usually don't really end up where we think. So, that's kind of what this Two of Swords is saying, is like, sometimes we just don't end up where we think we are going to end up. With the Five of Swords, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Yes, increasing your resources. I think it's an amazing time for resources for you here, Aquarius, and for you to grow your resources. Time for you to make money, for sure. The Queen of Pentacles wants us to focus on multiplication. The rabbit right here can represent fears and anxiety, can represent fertility and abundance, but it can also represent multiplication. Rabbits multiply very quickly. And so it says that there are things that we all do, activities, that cause more of a result. Two of Swords. There's probably better ways of doing everything in your life. You just have to discover those new ways of doing things. With the Seven of Cups, yes, devil. Every single person's had the devil again this week, so clearly everybody in the month of July had something about the devil. Clearly, this could be the week where something happens, where the devil is popping up for everyone. Because again, it was in the monthly readings that everybody got the devil. So I'm a little bit worried about this week anyway. I'm not worried. I bet, I don't know. I feel there could be something weird that happens in the world. So just, don't panic. Prepare yourself. Be aware. Number one. Number two, what I would also say is that, I think that we should avoid things that are toxic. Again, everybody has had the devil this week again. So whenever this happens, these cards that come up for the collective, to me it says, definitely something to pay attention to. If something seems toxic, it probably is. I would really trust your instincts as well. Like if you feel like you shouldn't do something, you probably shouldn't, right? If you feel like you shouldn't go somewhere, or if you feel like you shouldn't get on the highway, or, if you have a hunch or a gut instinct about something, trust it, right? Plain and simple. With the Two of Wands, you have the Two of Cups again. So this person is clearly outside your comfort zone. I feel like this person could be easier to get to than you think. It's like maybe you're putting a person on a pedestal too much here if you want love. But I think it could be easier than you think here, Aquarius. So, I would get out of your head and, not worry about it. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, it says, it is never truly the end. It says, beloved, in this, everything will be okay. You have this, be true to who you are. Fear will not stop you from shining. Yes, there you go. So there is a need to let go of fears, but it's not. I don't think this is really fears. I think it's fears in the sense of conditions. Again, when we put conditions on things before we go and try to accomplish them, or before we do them, it is fear, right? So, like I see this a lot in love, like we were just talking about. I see a lot of people that are like, the next person, I'm going to make them jump through all these hoops. I'm like, well, that is fear, because you are putting conditions on something, and, you're trying to control something that you can't control in the first place. There is no control. There is nothing we can do to control another person, no matter what. The more you try to control it, the more slippery fish you are going to attract into your life. I am convinced, right? So it's like the more, I see all these people on social media that are like, do this, do that, follow these rules. I'm like, you are just creating a bunch of people who are going to attract a bunch of cheaters, liars, and stealers into their lives. Because they are just creating these conditions that is going to attract it in the first place, right? Or that's going to create it. So it never works. We have to release the control because we can't control it in the first place. You have the Nine of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is perfect independence. It is also heaven on earth, right? It's like you can have all the good things right now. You can visualize it. You can manifest it. You can surround yourself with the energy of it. And that's what the Nine of Pentacles wants us to do. There's this snail right here, and the snails wear their homes on their backs. The whole point of the snail is that it represents our environment, and it represents creating a positive environment for ourselves. So anything you could do to surround yourself with things that you desire would be a good thing this week. The falcon right here represents your focus. It is very clear to me that your focus is critically important this week. Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands. All those wands are pointing in one direction. The focus is one direction. So you have to focus on one thing, exactly what you want, right? And not on the things that you don't want, plain and simple. You have the Two of Swords. Like I said, I think something is going to go completely the opposite of how you think, or maybe not the opposite, but just differently than you think. I don't think this is good or bad, the Two of Swords. I think it's just saying that you have these ideas of how things are going to go, clearly, based off this reading. And I feel the Two of Swords is saying, nope, probably not going to go that way, so you might as well not even try to control things. You might as well just enjoy your way into things instead, because that's going to be much better for you, right? And I think if you do that, things will go very well. You have the King of Pentacles. You have the King and Queen of Pentacles here. So if you are attracting love, I definitely love the King and Queen of Pentacles together. They represent two people who want to build something permanent, who want something secure, who want something happy. So this could be a very happy, permanent connection coming in for you here, Aquarius, and it looks, good. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Five of Wands. Yeah, conflict in getting into this place. It might be a good week to brainwash yourself. It might be a good week for toxic positive thinking, right? And all that other stuff. So I think that, thinking positively, it doesn't mean that you're not being realistic about your circumstances, but, it just means that you're choosing to transmute your thoughts in a positive direction. I feel all of that would be a good idea. Not allowing external circumstances to control you. That really is like one of the things, speaking of law of attraction, I think that's like one of the biggest benefits that I've gotten from it, to like whether it's real or not. I'm still on the fence, right? I do believe that I've attracted things, but is it real? I don't know. Or is it, I don't know, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. The whole point is, I think what I've gotten from it is that I can choose to feel a certain way right now. And I don't need external circumstances to look a certain way, right? And I feel that getting into that place would be very beneficial for you. Like, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what your circumstances is, you can change them mentally. And, it is kind of true that, when we talk about how things have been, it's like we're just talking about the past. We're not talking about how we want things to be. And we've all been doing it for so long, and it hasn't worked, right? So it's like whenever someone challenges me on the whole positive thinking thing, I'm like, yeah, but we've been doing this forever. Look at the news. That's all they focus on, right? And has it worked? It's like things definitely aren't getting better. So it's like we might as well try something different, the opposite, right? So there you go. With the Two of Swords, you have the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is celebration. If you are getting into a love connection, it kind of does feel like a reunion to me. But, this could be like a past life person. I feel like this could be something that just flows very nicely. It just, there is no awkwardness. I feel like I said this to you last week. Like, if I did say this to you, then it's definitely true. I can't remember if it was you or someone else, but I'm pretty sure it was you, Aquarius, where I was saying it just seems to me like there's no, I always make jokes about weather talk because every single date you go on nowadays, it seems like people are like, oh, it was such a nice day. It's like, yes, I was also outside. That's how I got here, right? So it's like, how about we talk about something else? Like, what's your favorite dinosaur, right? Or what's your favorite fish, right? Do you like, do you like the sky better or the ground better, right? What's your favorite planet? These are all like a little bit more exciting, right? With the King of Pentacles, you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is about someone adventurous, exciting. Page of Wands is a card of following your enthusiasm. You have that excitement card that is kicking off the reading. Like I said, I think the more that you can get on your skateboard, Aquarius, and just go in the direction of excitement, the better. And if you need to practice a couple of times, that's fine, right? So I kind of feel like that's what that's saying. Next, in the area of the good stuff, here you go. You have this card that says, the time is now. How many of these cards do you have to get? It says, it's time to act now without hesitation. Move past the old, move forward. Every reading I do for you. You have this fiery beginnings. It says, you're on the brink of a real breakthrough. Follow your heart and live your passions. Yes. Definitely a very passionate time for you. I think it is time for you to live your passions and to, not do things that you hate in life anymore. I think that, if there are things that you don't enjoy, you're going to have a much harder time doing them. If you get into a place where you can do more things that you enjoy, you're going to have a much easier time. So there you go. You have the Fool, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Ten of Wands. The Fool says you're ready to take a leap of faith. I mean, you have this card that says the time is now. It's time to move past the old and move forward. Fiery new beginnings. You're on the brink of a real breakthrough. So is he. So definitely time to take some sort of leap of faith. You have the Wheel of Fortune, which you show up right here, Aquarius, on the Wheel of Fortune. So whenever you show up as yourself, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength. The Wheel of Fortune says that your fortunes are turning in your favor. Definitely could be good things. I mean, this moon that we're having on the 24th is pretty positive. So, I feel in general that there could be something weird that happens this week. I can't really say much on YouTube, without getting banned. So, so I'm not going to say it, but don't be surprised if something weird happens in the world. And what I'm saying is, if there are events that happen that we shouldn't necessarily ignore them. That's not what I'm suggesting. But what I am suggesting is we can control the energy around us, right? And I would keep it positive, and that's what I would do here with the Wheel of Fortune. You have the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands and the good stuff says you're very close to achieving a goal. He is about to reach his home in the background here. So I think that a lot of you are very close to achieving your goal. And sorry, this is wrong. So let me fix it. But I feel like you're very close to achieving something. With the Fool, you have the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like time to make a decision. 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands, Chariot, 8 of Wands. It's time to pick a direction and move in that direction. And I feel that you will not be disappointed if you do that. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the King of Pentacles again. This is very good for finances. There could be some improvements or changes in your finances here, Aquarius. I definitely feel that with that card. There could also be some new growth, I feel, in your finances with the King of Pentacles. I don't know, I feel pretty good about that, King of Pentacles. With the Ten of Wands, you have the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups can represent past disappointment, but with the Ten of Wands, I would say you're like releasing past disappointments. Maybe you're accepting something new into your life this week that could be exciting, with the excitement card showing up there. So I don't know, I kind of feel like you're letting go of past disappointments, basically. And that's it. You have this egg card. It says, success assured with good plans and hard work. Yes, and I actually wouldn't work hard. I said it in the beginning of the year in the 2025 readings that this is a year of efficiency. Now, we can work hard and be efficient at the same time. So it's not that I think this year we shouldn't work hard. I just think that efficiency should come first. And then if what we're doing is efficient and we happen to be working hard because we're being efficient, fine. But we shouldn't just be thinking, I need to come up with the hard way of doing things. I believe as humans, we have complexity bias. I think we automatically feel that the complex answer is the right answer. I think that there's a little bit of delusion this year. And so we can get sucked into complex ways of doing things when really there's probably a simpler way, right? And, that's what I feel like this is saying. Like, find the simple answer. Or the simple answer is the answer. You have this pig, it says, beware of greed. I would be aware of greedy people, especially with the devil, for sure. You have this four-leaf clover. It says great good fortune on it. Yeah, I mean, could be a lot of luck. Regardless of what's happening, in the world or whatever, there could be a lot of luck for you. You have this moon. It says changes in your life. Clearly, a lot of changes. 3 of Wands, 2 of Wands, Chariot. Definitely moving in a new direction, Aquarius, which will be good for you. You have the Scales card. It says keep your life in balance. Yes, I think we all need to do this. We need to make sure we're balancing things out. There's something about this week. There's something I would say maybe about the next month. I haven't done the August readings yet, obviously. I have a sneaking suspicion that the August readings are really going to talk a lot about balance and creating more balance in life, but like needing to balance things out. I don't know. It's just a feeling I get, and it could be starting this week. That's why I'm talking about it, is because, this could be one of those weeks where it's like, they say your wealth is in your health, all that other stuff. It's like, but if you're not balancing your health, then you're not going to have wealth, right? That's the type of balance I'm talking about. Like, I think we need to balance multiple things out at this time. But it looks pretty good, Aquarius. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.